Whether it's two devices communicating directly or a larger network involving many different components, local networks allow devices to communicate with one another. In this video, we'll cover the basic facts you need to know to set up a local network for use with Pharos controllers. We'll explain the fundamentals of IP addresses, subnet masks, default gateways, DNS, and DHCP. Ethernet is used to physically connect devices to a network, and an Ethernet switch can be used to connect many devices together on a single network. A wireless access point can be connected to the network if wireless connectivity is required. To communicate on a network, each device needs to be given an IP address. IPv4 addresses are composed of 4 numbers between 0 and 255, separated by dots. Ultimately, these addresses are used by devices in their binary form. An IP address defines the network and host ID of a device. To communicate, devices must share the same network ID and have different host IDs. The network ID is always at the start of an IP address, followed by the host ID. The point at which the network ID stops and the host ID begins can vary between networks, and a subnet mask is used to define where this split happens. A subnet mask is a number in the same format as an IP address that usually starts with some number of 255s and ends with zeros, but other subnet masks are possible. The lowest and highest available host ID in a particular network have a special function and should not be used as device IP addresses. The internet is structured using IP addresses, meaning lots of addresses are already reserved for particular purposes. The following IP ranges are set aside for private networks and should be used for local networks like those in this video. In some installations, devices on a network may need to communicate with devices outside of that network. The most common example of this is a network which requires an internet connection. A router is used to send and receive messages from one network to another, and the IP address of this router is called the default gateway. When connecting to the internet, devices need to transform human-readable domains like pharoscontrols.com into the IP addresses they actually represent. This task falls to the domain name system, or DNS for short. DNS servers provide a DNS service which can be used to translate domain names into IP addresses. The Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or DHCP, helps to simplify networks, particularly those where devices leave and join the network frequently, by automatically assigning available host IDs to devices. This job is done by a DHCP server, which is usually included in the router. If a device is set to receive its address automatically via DHCP, but there's no DHCP server on the network, the device will set itself a link local address. Link local addresses always start 169.254, followed by 2 numbers. Devices with link local addresses can communicate with one another. This allows a controller to be connected directly to a computer without the need for a router. It can take up to 2 minutes to establish a link local connection while the device searches for a DHCP server. If you're not using DHCP, IP addresses can be configured manually. When it comes to setting a computer's IP address, be sure to select the right network interface. Most computers have more than one network interface, which could be built-in Wi-Fi, an Ethernet connector, an external dongle, or a VPN. Ensure that network interfaces connected to different networks have unique IP ranges and subnets so that your computer can communicate with the correct devices. The process of setting an IP address is different on macOS and Windows, but the overall goal is the same. Instructions for setting an IP address on the latest version of your computer's operating system can easily be found online. That concludes our overview of setting up a local network for use with Pharos controllers. We've covered the fundamentals of IP addresses, subnet masks, default gateways, DNS, and DHCP.